Tomiwa stood at the edge of the village, the setting sun casting a warm golden glow over the thatched roofs, the sound of children laughing and playing filling the air. The shadows grew longer, stretching towards the mighty Olumo Rock that loomed in the distance, its jagged silhouette a stark contrast against the darkening sky. The villagers hurried to light their lanterns and fires, casting flickering light on the dirt paths that wound their way through Agbayin. It was a village steeped in ancient traditions and superstitions, a place where the wind whispered secrets and the night held mysteries that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. One fateful evening, the wind carried a haunting melody that drifted through the village, chilling the air and sending a shudder down the spines of the villagers. Tomiwa, a young African child with bright eyes and an insatiable curiosity, felt drawn to the source of the eerie sound. Ignoring the warnings of the elders who spoke in hushed tones of the whispering Calabash and its dark powers, Tomiwa followed the haunting melody towards a hidden cave at the base of Olumo Rock. The entrance was shrouded in darkness, the air heavy with the scent of ancient earth and forgotten secrets. As he ventured deeper into the depths of the cave, his footsteps echoing against the damp stone walls, he came upon a faint light that danced and flickered like a will-o'-the-wisp. Tomiwa, a bold and reckless boy of 17 winters, stood before the ancient relic known as the Whispering Calabash, his eyes alight with a dangerous spark. He reached out a trembling hand to touch the sacred artifact, his voice ringing with arrogance, taunting the spirits that were said to dwell within. The wind suddenly stilled, as if holding its breath, and a hush fell over the village, the very air tingling with a palpable sense of unease. Tomiwa's laughter turned to a gasp of horror as the whispering Calabash began to glow with an otherworldly light, its ancient power awakened by his disrespectful words. In that moment, the spirits of the Calabash rose up in wrath, casting a dark curse upon the village of Agbayin. The villagers, gripped with fear and uncertainty, found themselves plagued by strange misfortunes and inexplicable tragedies that befell them in the dead of night. The once vibrant village became a place of shadow and sorrow, its people whispering of a malevolent presence that lurked in the darkness, its eyes filled with malice. Tomiwa, haunted by guilt and regret, wandered the streets like a lost soul, his once carefree features now etched with sorrow and despair. He saw the suffering he had unleashed upon his friends and family, a heavy burden weighing on his heart like a stone. As the curse tightened its grip on Agbayin, the villagers turned against each other, consumed by suspicion and paranoia. The very fabric of their community began to unravel, torn apart by fear and mistrust. Tomiwa, once a beloved figure in the village, was now an outcast, his name whispered in scorn, and his presence met with cold stares and averted gazes. He knew that he alone was responsible for the suffering that now plagued his home, and his spirit was heavy with the weight of his sins. In the darkest hour of the night, as the village lay shrouded in silence, broken only by the soft keening of the wind, Tomiwa stood at the edge of a precipice, his heart heavy with sorrow. The realization of his grave mistake weighed upon him like a leaden yoke, and he knew that he had brought ruin upon those he held dear. The very essence of Agbayin seemed to wither and fade, its once vibrant spirit dimmed by the shadows that now clung to its heart. In his despair, Tomiwa remembered the words of his ancestors, a whispered legacy of courage and resilience. With renewed determination, he made a solemn vow to atone for his folly and seek a way to break the curse that had befallen Agbayin. Though the night was dark and full of terrors, he steeled himself to face the darkness that lurked within the whispering Calabash and find a way to restore the light to his beleaguered village. In a final desperate confrontation with the malevolent spirits that held Agbayin in their thrall, Tomiwa discovered the true power of contrition and redemption. With a heart filled with courage and a spirit unbroken, he faced his fears and offered himself as a sacrifice to break the curse and free his people from the shackles of darkness. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, the villagers watched in awe as the shadows that had plagued them for so long were banished, dissolving like smoke in the morning air. And in that moment of sacrifice and salvation, Tomiwa was transformed from a foolish boy into a hero. His name spoken with reverence and gratitude by all who had known him, his memory a beacon of hope in a world touched by darkness.